baby loves. I am Blade, Alabama, and welcome back to my channel. What's up? I am grooving to Aaliyah in the background, y'all. So let me go ahead on and get started with this story time that you see in the title. First, I have to tell you all that this palette was sold out for 2 weeks. So I just finally got it off of Ulta, and I just really want to play around in some green and yellow makeup, being that I had on a green little crop top that I just bought the same day at Five Below. So anyway, let's continue about this car hopping. So I am 16 and a half, and I'm in the car with my homegirl and her boyfriend. So let me go back for a minute. Let's go back. I graduated from a performing arts high school, and my homegirl, we both were in show choir and we sang and danced. And at the time, Alabama State was having a play that they were putting on, the HBCU, Alabama State, whoop whoop, Montgomery, let's go. They have an amazing program, and we needed a way to get there. Originally, she was supposed to drive, y'all. Originally. So when the permission slip went out, the permission slip was never about getting permission to go. It was about getting permission from your parents on how you were going to get there. Originally, being that she drove, she was going to be the one to drive and take us, because we were hoping she could get our parents' car. Well, she wasn't able to, and that put us in a position. So when my mom gave consent for me to transport in a car with a teenager, at the time she gave permission for my friend to be the one transporting, because that's who we originally thought was going to be transporting us. So I want you all to keep in mind that I signed the permission slip since I've been 12 years old. My mother has always had me sign all of my signed papers and all of those, the big packet of paperwork that comes home at the beginning of the year. Yeah, my mother stopped doing that somewhere around 6th grade. I signed all of that for the rest of my life. So she never did sign permission slips or anything for me for a long time. So the signature on there was really mine. This plays a role later on down the line. Ultimately, she decides to ask her boyfriend if he would drive us. And she was like, and I'll have his friend to come along too. Now, I'm not really that excited about the friend coming along, because at the time, I have a boyfriend who was pretty much the same boyfriend throughout high school. But, she was like, oh, it'll be fun, I don't want you to be the third wheel. It'll be fun. I'll just tell his friend to come. His friend is real cool. I've met him, blah, blah, blah. So she's my best friend, one of them at least, and I trust her. I said, okay, girl, that's fine. If it bothers you, you can invite him along. And I didn't think twice about it, because I knew my little friend, boyfriend, wasn't out there doing things appropriately either. So although I knew he wouldn't be happy about me being riding around in a car with another dude, I didn't care, because he wasn't being 100. So why should I? So also, let me tell you all that friend and I at the time are pure, right? We are pure as undriven snow. And I say as undriven snow because there's nothing pure about snow that has been driven through, if you catch my drift. So it's not like we were going to go off and cut up and do anything wild anyway, but we was being a little fast. So our vocal instructor understands that her cousin is going to be the one that's going to pick us up and drop us off, her male cousin. He said, as long as she is cool with it, as in me, then I'm fine with it too. And as long as your parents are okay with it. Our parents are okay with it. He didn't check up behind us. Once again, we're magnet kids. Nobody really checked up behind us, because overall we were good kids. So the boys come and pick us up. They take us to Alabama State. They drop us off, and then they come back to get us. Now, the rule was you had to 2:45, 2:50 to get your behind back to the schoolhouse. So that gave us approximately 2 hours and like 45 minutes to just eat lunch and do whatever we wanted to do. So when the play is over with, we specifically tell them where to park so we can drive well, walk down the hill and meet them because we did not want our classmates and fellow magnet students to see us getting in the car with two guys, because we knew what their minds would be thinking. And we didn't, and although we knew we were not going to be doing all of that, we knew that their minds would be thinking it. So although we being kind of fast, we try not to be, too fast. So they pick us up. We walk down the hill and they say, well, are you hungry? It's lunchtime. Do you want to go get something to eat? We're not hungry for some reason. We're just thirsty. Well, that's when the driver, her boyfriend, pulls out some wine coolers and say, hey, we have some wine coolers if you all want to drink that. And me, I'm like, yeah, I don't drink. Y'all can stop and give me a strawberry soda or something. I ain't with that. So I'm not too happy about we driving around underage, all of us drinking, but it's just wine coolers. So I'm like, okay, red flag number one, right? So we just riding around and we bumping music. And I would never forget at the time, it was some type of R. Kelly remix he was playing in his car. And I was like, turn it up, because I'm just trying to get my nerves together. We bumping, we driving around. And he says, well, we can go by my crib just to chill. Now, I'm like, she can go in, but I'm staying outside. Little did I know that he is heading in the direction of my siblings. I have two siblings, a brother and a sister. One is, my sister is 6 years older. My brother is 5 years older than me. And we're heading in their direction. When he said his house, and never in a million years that I think that he would be headed in that direction, because we're headed in a direction of Montgomery that's north side, and that area is not highly developed. People haven't come out there and start tearing everything down and building everything up. So it's still a really nice area with a lot of trees, a lot of grass. And yes, it has subdivisions and, restaurants and things like that, but it's just not as built up as the other parts of Montgomery is. So in my mind, I'm thinking, what if I run into my brother? Because my brother had a different work schedule, and I knew my sister would be at work, but my brother's work schedule was not a set schedule. And I'm thinking, man, and my brother see me in the back of this car, everybody dead. They're dead, we dead. All of this is about to get shut down. So I'm sitting in the back seat just ducking and ducking and ducking, because in my mind, my brother is going to pass by and see me in this car. And they're like, what are you doing? So I explained to them the situation. And of course, the dude's like, yeah, you need to duck. We ain't trying to have any of those type of problems. So it just so happens that they literally drive past the street that my siblings live on. And I'm like, thank you, God. So we chill at the house. Her and him go in. Like I said, nothing happened but some little play hoochie coochie foolery. And me and old boy stay outside sitting in the car talking, and on the porch talking, because I meant under no circumstances that I want this young man to think anything about me like that. And I had already made it clear to him that wasn't what it was about. He had good energy, good vibes, and we just enjoyed each other's company. So now it's time to head on back to the schoolhouse. We realized, ooh, Lord, it's like 2:30. We need to be trying to make it back to the schoolhouse. So he goes in the house to go get them and say, hey, we need to get them on back to the school. So they take us on back. We make sure we tell them where to drop us off again, because once we get back to the school, Lord have mercy, it's a fire drill and all the school is outside. And I'm like, dang. And I told you, I had a little boyfriend. All I needed was for a boyfriend to see something, see boyfriend's friends see something, and it could blow up into anything else. So long story short now, I didn't get caught. Vocal coach didn't catch us. Parents didn't catch us. My boyfriend didn't catch us. We made it back safe and sound. So I know you, brother didn't catch me. Thank you, Lord. And I know you're thinking like, okay, well, what's the point of this story? Okay, pay attention to the description box. The point of the story is my best friend didn't know these niggas. When she said her boyfriend, I'm thinking it's the same guy that she's been dating for the last 3 to 4 months. I did not know that her and that guy were on a break because he had upset her, and this was temporary fill-in replacement dude that I'm gonna use to upset you when everybody tell you that they have seen me out with him. So what does that tell you, y'all? She don't know his first and last name for real. She definitely didn't know the dude that I'm sitting in the backseat of the car with. And we sitting here riding around, just bumping, just chilling. They drinking wine coolers. And we don't know these guys. Do you realize that these guys could have done anything to us? We could have been deleted, R'd, SA'd, or anything. And there would have been nothing we could do about it, y'all, because our dumb asses didn't tell anybody what we were doing. Keep in mind that the paperwork we filled out had her name and her parents' car description on it. Keep in mind, we're lying and not telling everybody the truth about who we're really in the car with. We're so dumb, we didn't even think to tell some of our other friends exactly what we were doing. So that way, if something happened, somebody would know something. These guys could have done anything. And even if we had survived it, how would we have told anybody? Let's hypothetically say the boy's name is Mike. I'm sure she didn't know his last name. What, Mike and his friend? Mike, we could give them descriptions. We could give them car descriptions, but we're females. We don't know making models of cars. We wouldn't have been able to describe to them anything if something crazy had happened. We just would have been up shit creek. So my heart drops when she tells me, oh no, I've only known him for 2 weeks. That's not my main boyfriend. Him and I were on a break, but we back together now. I'm like, y'all back together? Bitch, who you had me in the car with? I'm just flabbergasted because in my mind, I started flashing to every single thing that could have gone wrong. And the point of this story is, y'all, how did we survive adolescence with the dumb things that we did? How is Gen Z gonna survive? Because at this point, they have to worry about trafficking. I am a RN/nurse practitioner. This is my specialty. This is what I do every day, dealing with adolescents. And when I tell you I see trafficking all the time with young girls who don't even know that they're being trafficked, because to them, he's 25, he's 32, but he's my boyfriend. I'm telling you, how did we survive? You have to thank God that he watches over children and fools, because we were children and fools. If you think about it, I told you these boys were about 18 years old and graduated. Exactly how come they were not in somebody's college themselves? Exactly how come they were not in somebody's military? Exactly how come they were not at somebody's job instead of driving around with 2 16-and-a-half-year-olds in the vehicle drinking wine coolers? Red flag. But you don't think about these things until after the fact. And I made it a point in my head from that day on to never car hop ever again. It saved me through college. We're not going to even talk about the number of things that I was spared by not car hopping in college. Okay. That's a whole other story time that I have for you all about some things that happened when I was at the great Alabama A&M University. Ooh, that's a good story time. Y'all go get your teenagers and tell them. Bring them in here and let them hear this story. Older men know when you're lying about your age, because although you don't look it, your voice, your conversation, your brain process is going to tell your age. You're not as smart as you think you are about lying about your age. Whenever you think you are getting over on somebody by telling them you're older than what you are, trust me, you're not playing them. They're playing you. They really know that they're 21 and you're somewhere around 15. Your face and body may not say 15, but they know, because your mouth, the things that comes out of your mouth is going to let them know the age that you are, because of there's different conversation between a 15, 16-year-old versus a 19, 20-year-old, because you have different priorities at those points in your lives. I just want you all to understand that car hopping is just not the way to go. Whether you are in middle school, high school, college age, whether you are an adult, if you older than college and car hopping, I suggest you not do it. I suggest you ask all questions, you get all information, and you dig and make sure that you are safe, because we're talking about at a time where we didn't even have cell phones. You all have cell phones and you have trafficking. You all have to be careful in a way that we never even imagined. So I think that's really the point that I wanted to discuss in this makeup session, is talking to the youth, talking to the young adults and the teenagers and the adolescents around you, and prepare them, y'all. Tell them your horror stories. Tell them the times that you were foolish and how you almost got up out of here, or something negative and evil could have happened to you, but you were spared. Because sometimes you all know it's not always that we are spared from these things when you're being sneaky and doing things behind your folks' back. Child, every time I think about that story, my heart just drops, because I'm telling you, we were in a place that was full of trees and grass, and I'm telling you, they could have just thrown our little bodies over there to the side and nobody would have ever known, because nobody knew where we were.